Hey guys, welcome to my channel Sengupta's Creation. I am Yona Sengupta, your host and your coach, and today we'll be doing the chapter Life Processes, chapter 6, or chapter of biology, the question and answers, the NCERT question and answers. So, can we quickly start? Okay, before we start, I want to do a little recap, a little summary of it. How about we do it? First, what we have learned, okay? What we have learned about the various movements, movements of various types of which can be taken as an indication of life, and then the maintenance of we know that the maintenance of life processes requires uh, like nutrition, respiration, transportation of materials within the body, and excretion of waste products. Now, autotrophic nutrition involves the intake of simple inorganic materials from the environment and using an external energy source like the sun to synthesize complex high energy organic materials. Now, heterotropic nutrition involves the intake involves the intake of uh, complex material prepared by the organisms. But in human beings, the food eaten is broken down by various steps along the alimentary canal, and the digested food is absorbed in the small intestine to be sent to all cells in the body. Now, during the process of respiration, complex organic compounds such as glucose are broken down to provide energy in the form of ATP. ATP is used to uh, provide energy for other reactions in the cell. Now, respiration may be aerobic or anaerobic, and aerobic respiration makes more energy available to the organisms. In human beings, the transport of materials such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, food, and other excretory products is a function of the circulatory system. Now, the circulatory system consists of the heart, blood, then blood vessels. Acha. Next, in highly differentiated plants, transport of water, then minerals, food, and other materials is a function of the vascular tissue, which consists of xylem and phloem. Next is that in human beings, excretory products in the form of soluble nitrogen compounds are removed by the nephrons in the kidneys. Now, plants use a variety of techniques to get rid of waste materials. For example, waste materials may be stored in the cell vacuoles or as gums and resins removed in the falling leaves or excreted into the surrounding soil. So, I hope you get a clear view of the summary of the at least the subtopics that we have learned. Now we'll quickly move to the chapter, the exercise. Okay, okay. So the first question here. The first, I want you all to do these four, and then we'll discuss. I'll give you 1 minute. Okay, so now we'll start discussing the answers. Okay, so as you can see, the first answer here, the first question says the kidney in human beings are a part of the system. For what for are they? The kidneys are in human beings are part of the system. First option is nutrition, second is respiration, next is excretion, and then the next one is transportation. So the here the answer would be, so here, okay, the answer would be number C, excretion. It's a hard one. Okay, the next question says that the xylem in plants are responsible for transport of water or transport of food or transport of amino acids or transport of oxygen. So the answer is that in plants the xylem is responsible for the transport of water. So the answer would be the xylem in plants is responsible for the transport of water, which is option A. Okay, now many are asking, why did I give excretion? First, the excretory system of human beings includes a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and a urethra. So the kidneys are located in the abdomen. So one on either side of the backbone. Now, urine produced in the kidneys passes through the ureters into the urinary bladder, where it is stored until it is released through the urethra, right? So this is why I have written that it's an excretion. It's a part of the excretory system. Okay. Next was the xylem. It helps in is or responsible in the transport of water. Okay. Uh, Next comes is the autotrophic mode of nutrition requires what? It requires carbon dioxide and water, or it requires chlorophyll, or it requires sunlight, or all of the above. For example, it's the carbon dioxide, water, chlorophyll, sunlight, everything. So first is for autotrophic mode of nutrition, it requires carbon dioxide, water, chlorophyll, and sunlight from the preparation of for preparation of food. So the answer is all of the above. Next, number 4, the breakdown of pyruvate to give carbon dioxide, then water and energy takes place in cytoplasm or mitochondria or chloroplast or nucleus. So the breakdown of pyruvate to give carbon dioxide, water and energy takes place in the mitochondria. So the answer is mitochondria. Right? Done. Next, what we have is number 5. How fats are digested in our body? Let's write it here. Sorry, it's number 5. So this takes a long, it's a long type of answer, that how are digested fat digested in our body, and where does this process take place. First, the small intestine is the place for the complete digestion of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. It receives the secretions of the liver and pancreas for this purpose. The food coming from the stomach is usually acidic in nature, and it has to be made alkaline so that the pancreatic enzymes can act on it. Then bile juice produced in the liver accomplishes this process, and fats are usually present in the intestine in the form of larger globules, which makes it difficult for enzymes to act on them. The bile salts help in breaking down larger globules into smaller globules, and the pancreas helps in secreting pancreatic juice, which contains enzymes like trypsin for digesting proteins and lipase for breaking down emulsified fats. Next, the walls of the small intestine contain glands which secrete the which secretes the intestinal juice. And now the enzymes present in the intestinal juice, uh, it finally converts the proteins to amino acids, and complex carbohydrates into glucose, and finally fats into fatty acids and glycerol. So this is the answer. पूरा लगेगा. Okay, so this is the answer. I don't know why it is happening like this. It's not even happening. Okay, next is number 6. Number 6 is, what is the role of saliva in the digestion of food? So, first of all, the food we intake is complex in nature. So, if it is to be absorbed from the alimentary canal, then it has to be broken into smaller molecules, and this process is mainly done with the help of biological catalyst called enzymes. So the saliva contains an enzyme called the salivary amylase that breaks down starch, which is a complex molecule to give sugar. So the food is mixed thoroughly with saliva and moved around the mouth while chewing the muscular tongue. So hence saliva plays a very important uh, saliva plays a pivotal role in the digestion and absorption of the food. Okay, I'm sorry. This is, I guess. Okay, so this is number 6. So this is the answer for number 6. I don't know, it's malfunctioning. Okay, next is number 7. I'll just tell the answers today. Okay. What are the necessary conditions for autotrophic nutrition? And what are its byproducts? So the energy and carbon requirements of the autotrophic organisms are obtained by the process of photosynthesis. Now, it is defined as the process by which autotrophs take in substances from the outside surroundings and convert them into stored forms of energy. Now, this substance is taken in the form of carbon dioxide and water. Now, which then they are converted into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So the main purpose of carbohydrates is to provide energy to the plants, and the carbohydrates are not utilized if it is not utilized immediately, but they can be stored in the form of starch, which serves as an internal energy reserve. Now the stored energy can be, you know, used as and when required by the plant, right? So I'll just write number 7. Okay, so this is number 6, some kind of thing, I don't know. Okay, next is number 8. Now number 8 says, what are the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration? Now name some of the uh, organisms that use the anaerobic mode of respiration. So first is that aerobic respiration is like the process which takes place in the presence of free oxygen, while anaerobic respiration is the process which takes place in the absence of free oxygen. In aerobic respiration, the products are carbon dioxide, water, and energy, while in anaerobic respiration, the products are ethyl alcohol, then carbon dioxide, and a very little energy. In aerobic respiration, the first step is glycolysis, which takes place in the cytoplasm, while the next step takes place in mitochondria. While in anaerobic respiration, even the first step takes place in cytoplasm, while the next step takes place in mitochondria. So in both of them, first the first step takes place in the cytoplasm, and the next step takes place in mitochondria. Next, in the process of aerobic respiration uh, takes place in all higher organism, while uh, in in anaerobic respiration, the glucose molecules are incompletely, I repeat again, incompletely broken down. In aerobic respiration, complete oxidation of glucose takes place, while in the process of anaerobic respiration takes place in the lower organisms like yeast and some species of bacteria and parasites and uh, parasites like tapeworms. Okay, so this is the answer for them. Okay, if I can write it there. Next one is number. Okay, so should we go to the next one? Next one is number 9. How are the alveoli designed to maximize the exchange of gases? So the lung is an important part of the body. The passage inside the lungs divides them into smaller and smaller tubes, which finally terminates in a balloon-like structure called the alveoli. Now, the alveoli provides a surface where the exchange of gases can take place. The walls of the alveoli usually contain an extensive network of blood vessels. And we know that when we breathe in, we lift our ribs, flatten our diaphragm, and the chest cavity becomes larger. Because of this action, the air is sucked into the lungs and fills up the expanded alveoli. Now, the blood brings the essential carbon dioxide from the rest of the body and supplies it to the alveoli. So, the oxygen in the alveolar air is taken up by the blood in the alveolar blood vessels to be transported to all other cells of the body. During the normal breathing cycle, when air is taken in and let out, the lungs always contain a residual volume of air so that there is sufficient time for oxygen to be absorbed and carbon dioxide to be released. Okay, so this is number. Next is number 10. In number 10, the question, I don't know if you can see. In number 10, the question says, what would be the consequences of deficiency of hemoglobin in our body? Let me just rub this. Okay, in number 10, it says, what would be the consequences of a deficiency of hemoglobin in our body? So, hemoglobin is a protein responsible for the transportation of oxygen to the body cells for cellular respiration. A deficiency of hemoglobin can affect the oxygen carrying capacity of RBCs, and this lead to the lack of oxygen in our body cells. Now, hemoglobin deficiency can lead to a disease called anemia. Okay. Next question we see here is that describe the double circulation of blood in human beings. Okay. And why is it necessary? Basically, because double circulation means in a single cycle that blood goes twice in the heart, and the process helps in separating oxygenated and deoxygenated blood to maintain a constant body temperature. Now, the double circulatory system of blood includes the pulmonary circulation and the systematic circulation. Now, the pulmonary circulation, what is pulmonary circulation? It is the right ventricle which pumps deoxygenated blood into the lungs, where it is oxygenated, and the oxygenated blood is brought back to the left atrium, and from there it is pumped into the left ventricle, and finally the blood goes to aorta for the systemic circulation. So first comes the pulmonary circulation. So it goes from right ventricle to the takes the deoxygenated blood to the oxygenated blood, where it is brought to the left atrium, from right ventricle to left atrium, and then it is pumped to the left ventricle again, and then it goes into the aorta. The blood goes into aorta for a systematic circulation. Now the systematic circulation, what does it have? It actually has the oxygenated blood to be pumped to various parts of the body from the left ventricle, and the deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body passes through the vena cava to reach the right atrium, and the right atrium transfers the the blood into the right ventricle. Okay, so you understood. Next, question number 12. What are the differences between the transport of materials in the xylem and phloem? So, in the transport of materials in xylem tissue helps in the transport of water and minerals, while in phloem tissue helps in the transport of food. Now, water is transported upwards from roots to all other plant parts in xylem, while food is transported in both upward and downward directions in phloem. Okay. And you should know that in xylem transport is unidirectional, while in phloem transport is bidirectional. Okay. Next, we have compared the functioning of alveoli in the lungs and nephrons in the kidneys with respect to their structure and functioning. Now, first we'll talk about the structure. In alveoli, alveoli are the very like tiny balloon-like structures present inside the lungs, while nephrons are tubular structures present inside the kidney. Now, in alveoli, the walls are one cell thick, and it contains an extensive network of blood capillaries. While in nephrons, it all are made of glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, and a long renal tube. Now we will compare the functioning of alveoli in lungs and neurons in the kidneys with respect to their function. We have already done the structure right now, and now we'll do about the function. Now, in alveoli, it says that the exchange of uh, oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place between the blood of the capillaries that surround the alveoli and the gases present in the alveoli. While in nephron, the blood enters the kidneys through the renal artery and the blood is entered here, and the nitrogenous waste in the form of urine is collected by collecting the duct. In alveoli are the site of gaseous exchange, while in nephrons are the basic filtration unit. Okay, so number 13 is over. So this was all for today. Okay, so you had a fun I hope you had a fun class today. I hope you a lot learned. If you like my video, please like and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon, because whenever I'm online, you can join my journey and learn more. Okay, so thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.